I have never experienced sharing the gospel with someone, with a friend, a family member. I've never experienced that. And I don't know, whenever I thought about spreading the word of God to other people, I just thought that, well, I need to work on myself first. I need to improve my, you know, knowledge of the Bible. I need to spend more time in the Word. I need time for myself. And I also thought that, what would other people say when I, say to them that I am a Christian and sorry, what would people say about me? I fear other people's judgments and opinions. Partly because I grew up in an environment where, the concept of religion in itself, in Jesus, in Christianity, is a bit rejected, by people here. I live in Europe, I live in Italy, and religion here is, I believe, somewhat a tradition, but not a genuine thing most of the times. Or it's just that the church as an institution has you know gave people has given people a different image. But you know still, I'm afraid of sharing the gospel. I'm afraid of talking about Jesus to people. But then I realized that sharing the gospel is not a an extra thing to do. It's not a thing that is reserved only to strong Christians, or Christians or to people who have been Christians for years. It's not something that, Jesus didn't say, okay, spread the gospel if you want to. No. I believe that as Christians, we have the duty, we have the obligation of spreading God's love to other people. It is not, something you can do. It is something you have to do, something you must do. It is mandatory. We see it throughout the gospel. It says, go therefore and make disciples of all nations. It also says, the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. In the sense that there are so many people right now who need love, who need Jesus, who need His love, but the workers are few. There are few people who are actually spreading His word. And Jesus, in this way, He is calling us to do so. And come to think of it, there are so many things that stop me from spreading His words, like fear of judgment. I've talked about people pleasing in this channel, and fear of rejection. But I believe that spreading the gospel is something that we need to do at any cost. Even if we'll lose that relationship, Jesus wants our love to be radical towards Him. And yeah. And I believe that spreading the gospel can be done much more effectively with actions, not just with words. Yes, we also have the duty to talk about Jesus, to talk about His love for them, but our actions, I believe, have a greater impact than words. The way we treat people, the way we talk to people, the way we love our enemies, the way we approach life and our mindset can actually inspire people to know more about Jesus and more about His love. And they speak louder, so much louder than words. And so yes, I feel like I need and I have the duty and the obligation to spread His word. To and my my relationship with Jesus has come to a point where I do not care anymore about what other people think about me, about other people's judgment. So that is such an important thing, to spread the gospel to people. So I mean, I believe that as Christians we need to do more about it, and most importantly we need to learn also how to evangelize. We see so many versions of evangelism online. We see street preachers. We see people like, I don't know, Bryce Crawford. He's such an amazing example of evangelism. And we need to learn how to approach people. People who are lost. The world needs love. And so evangelism, the basis of evangelism, the basis of spreading His word must be love. You can't just preach the gospel to people. You can't just preach to people with words, spitting out words and that's enough. No. Jesus, when it came to crowds, when it came to, people who were lost, He felt compassion. His love was His biggest motivation. And that is why Jesus is the greatest example of evangelism. I believe we have two extremes, two opposite poles, and Jesus is out of that, standard, and gives the actual and true and best way of evangelize. And that is, Jesus didn't, spit out words of judgment, words of condemnation. Yes, He warned about the dangers of hell. He warned about the dangers of unbelief. But He did that in a loving way because He cared about them. He cared about, He never attacked personally people. He never said, "Oh, you are going to hell." No, He said, "These are the dangers of hell, and I want you to turn away from them." And so, but then, on the other hand, Jesus did not affirm sin. Jesus didn't say, "Oh, continue that path, continue that life," right? No. Jesus is the best example of evangelism because He told the truth with love, showed the people the right way, showed people what to do and how to behave. He gave a great example through His actions, through His radical love. He, healed the sick. He stayed with prostitutes, thieves, criminals, and people and the outcasts of society. And He did that lovingly. He cared about them. And I think there's a common, struggle among Christians, and that is, Christians are afraid. I myself used to be that way. We are afraid to spread the gospel because we feel like we don't know enough, or we're not prepared enough, or we are not equipped enough. It's like, man, I really don't know how to answer the possible questions, the potential question they might ask. I don't really know about Jesus, or there are people that even if you ask them which belief do you hold on to, they struggle in answering that question. So that is a great opportunity to equip ourselves and actually learn more about Jesus, His love, and yeah. So I'm afraid of preaching the gospel, but it is a duty at the end of the day. It is something that Jesus commanded, and we need to follow His commands in order to love Him. Oh yeah, there was just a thought I had.